Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be programming in Java. First of all, we're going to be doing the first program that all developers pretty much do in whatever programming language that you pretty much do, whether it's C++, Python, or in this case, Java. We're going to create the Hello World program. Basically, what we'll be doing, we'll be pretty much covering the basic foundations of how we create a basic, very simple Java program. Well, we won't be using object-oriented programming in this case. So let's start. So you can pick whatever IDE or um, any software that you can use. In my case, I'm using Notepad++. You could use Eclipse IDE or any online IDEs that you would like to use. Just for the people that don't know what an IDE is, it is an internal development environment that you can do to pretty much program your code and then have it work for you. So let's start. So if you are a beginner, I do recommend you download Eclipse and pretty much use Eclipse for this video. For this, if you want to practice this, use an Eclipse IDE. If you're more advanced and you know what you're doing in Java, you could definitely use Notepad++ for this activity. So how do we start this? We start with our first keyword. So for any people that are starting out in Java, you're going to be dealing with several keywords. Java has very important and reserved keywords, and you're about to see them right now. Okay? So how do we name files in Java? We use our first two keywords, and what are they? So it's going to be lowercase. It's going to be lowercase public. So this pretty much defines it's an accessor of the file. Basically, there's different three more different accessor types, but for this program, we're going to use public. Okay, and a file in Java is pretty much called a class. After we give it these two keywords, we put the file name. In this case, hello world. So just to give you a heads up, whenever you want to give it a name for a file, you have to pretty much have the first letters uppercase and then the other letters you can use lowercase. And whenever you have like a different word, you can give it the uppercase again, okay? If you write it like this, with a lowercase, the system will give you errors and mistakes. And if you're using IDE, it's actually going to tell you that something is going on wrong. This is the way the programming language was designed. Okay, so once you have the name, what happens? So here's where the program actually starts. And how do we start the program? We started with an opening brace, and we end the program with a closing brace. Brace, yeah, brace, perfect. Curly brace. Okay, so we have a program, okay? We call it Hello World. What's going to be our next step to having that output? Because the goal of what we're programming today is actually the user, when they execute the program, they're going to see in their output the message hello world. Okay, so the next step is what's going to make everything happen. So just to give you a bit of context, a program one there's a thing called a method, and these methods are what makes the program work pretty much. Okay, in our situation, this method will be the reason why the user will be able to see the message we're going to be creating soon. Okay, without that, the user will not see anything when you execute this system. Like right now, I can execute it, compile it, and run it, and we will not see anything at all. Okay. So let's start this. Let's start a keyword here. So we're going to start again with public, because the method that we're going to be creating a method called main. It's going to start with public, okay? Public. That's our first keyword we'll be using for this method. And we'll be using the static. So every main method, these methods that execute, that make things happen for Java, this type of method is static. The further you go into Java, the more you'll realize there's different types of methods. But for today, we'll just focus on this static method that we have here. And then we'll have a return type. So any method in Java, you're going to have a return type, okay? Depending what you're using. For this method, we'll be using the keyword void, okay? And then we're going to focus on giving this method name. What is the method's name? Main. Here's where you gonna start differentiating a class name, like we just see hello world. You'll make a different, this is the difference, okay? Instead of giving the name, like for example, class name, we have the uppercase hello world. We're gonna give it a lowercase name. It's gonna be called main, and it's gonna be lowercase, okay? Once we do that, okay, this method has a sense of parameters. How do we create parameters in Java? We use these parentheses here, okay? And inside these parentheses, we're going to implement a couple of arguments, okay? Okay, perfect. So what are the arguments we'll be putting? What we normally put? It's, for example, we got an array. But here's the thing, before we put this array, we'll be putting the string. It's a string of arguments. That's what these brackets mean, actually. In Java specifically, when we create an array will have these types of brackets. Like for example, one-dimensional simple array, we're gonna have brackets here that will signify that it is an array. So this means this is a string of arrays, okay? And then we're gonna have the keyword args afterwards. So just like we did in class Hello World, we're gonna be using opening brackets and closing brackets. Like I said, these brackets pretty much they open the program and they close the program. And in our case, it's opening this method and then closing it, okay? This provides our scope. Pretty much whatever we have here, there's a good chance whatever we have in here will not be found or will be affected here. Basically, this makes our variables local. This might be a bit more advanced. We're just creating a simple program here, but that's pretty much the idea. Okay, so to make it simple, this is the line 5 now that we have, our method open, our main method open. We're gonna create the next part of our program, which is the output line that we'll be using. Here's where we're gonna create the message that the user is going to see when we execute and run the program. Okay. So what's the syntax here? It's this. We're using system dot out because it's an output, and we'll be using the print. So to make it simple, I'm gonna work with the print line method, the print new line method. Okay. And be aware, because this last part here, the semicolon, it's the most common mistake you can make in Java. Many developers make the mistake, regardless if they're beginners or, nuanced or advanced. They can make that mistake. I've made that mistake. Compilers will usually help you with this, in pointing that out, okay? And what does this semicolon mean? Pretty much a semicolon is the same as the period to a sentence in English. The car is red. Pretty much, this will be the period of that sentence, okay? It ends that line right there, okay? So we have our basic line to output something. Okay, we're not done yet. Because inside the argument, of the print line method that's being invoked, we're gonna put commas, okay? Here's where the fun begins, actually. Inside these commas, you can actually put your message. In this case, what's our message? Hello world. And that's pretty much it. And that is our program. This is what you just wrote. Just to say hello world, we had to pretty much invest 7 lines of code to make this happen. So just so you guys know, I'm not, I'm not lying to you guys or anything like that. We're actually going to try this out and know that this is a program that actually does work. Hello world .java. So whenever you want to save your program, in my case, I'm using Notepad++. Um, always look for the .java extension or the Java source file extension. This will make your program into a Java. If you make it into other things, it's not going to work. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, you just saw how it turned from these words turned from black to a bluish, violet, purple color. This is what I meant with these words being keywords. Okay, when you download the Java S Standard Edition packages, these keywords are connected to a library that's inside. Java is a very extensive programming language. So let's see if I'm being honest with you guys when it comes to writing this code. Okay, so what's the expectation for us as programmers? We're expecting that this code gives us the output we just wrote. This is what needs to show up. Okay, this is our output. This is our mission success here. Okay, so once we have the code, we believe we have the code done. What's the next step? We're going to go into the command line. In our case, we're going to try to first compile it so it can actually work. Okay, perfect. So what do we do here? We know, first of all, we're going to check if our Java file is in the same folder that our command line is at. So we have the documents and my code is in the same folder as as my actual program. Let's see. Let me just check. Hello world, hello world. Yep, it's confirmed we have it here. Okay, that's great. Let's go. Okay, so our next step is to compile our code. Java C. Perfect. Okay, this is how you compile a program using the command prompt. You can also do it otherwise with an IDE. It's much simpler, but we're gonna do it this way for today. As you can see, this thing that you just saw means that the program did compile. It was successful. If you see otherwise, if there's like some things going on over here that's not like this, you made a mistake and you have to check the code again, okay, and rewind it. But honestly, you followed everything through, you should be in the same result. You should have the same result as me. Your file compiled. So what's our next step? Our next step is running the program. Okay, so to run a program, it's very similar the typing you're gonna be doing, except you won't be using Java C. You'll be using the word Java and then the name of the file without the .java extension. Okay, you will not be using the .java extension here. It's not necessary. Now we're gonna press enter and now it should work. And as you can see, that's the message that we wanted to see. Hello world with dots. And that's it. you've just constructed your first Java program. Give yourselves a pat on the back if you guys had the result. If it didn't work, keep working on it. Um, this is a simple program, so you guys should be able to fix this if you had any mistakes. Um, Also use IDEs. They are very useful. What I recommend is the Eclipse IDE. A bit more extensive, but you do learn a lot through it, which is this program right here, the Eclipse IDE for Java developers. It does help you, points out any errors you're making, if you happen to make any errors. And it has a compiler, so you don't have to do the command prompt that I did. I like the command prompt personally. So, and that's it. So thank you guys for clicking into this video and checking out this program. Thanks and have a nice day.